really doing something different this year with Ghost Biker Explorations Season 6. Every single episode of Season 6 is going to be live.
Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down throughout the generations. But what if those legends are true? My job is to travel to these destinations, explore them, and figure out the mystery that lies within.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday night. I am the Ghost Biker, and you are watching Season 6, Episode 1 of Behind the Screams, where we're going to be spending the evening talking about the episode that we just aired this past Tuesday and some of the things that were captured and some of the cool things that are going on. So want to thank everyone so much that watched on Tuesday night. I know we did it a little bit different this season, and we had a great turnout for Tuesday night. I know we had some technical internet difficulties, but excuse me, but you hung in there and you watched, and so I am so grateful that and thankful that you guys stuck with us and watched through the entire 2 hour live. So thank you so much. Just want to say hello to some folks that are over here in the chat room. If you're on, give me a big hello, because I'd love to give you a shout out over here. Hello to Miss Sonia Thompson from The Walking Dead, Susan Purcell from all the way down in Southeast Tennessee, Crystal Hill from Alabama, Mary Lynn Bast from out in Texas. It was great seeing you out in South Dakota, Miss Mary Lynn. Crystal, thank you. She says her 8-year-old loved it. I appreciate you guys watching. Scott Horn from out in South Dakota just got to spend a wonderful weekend with the Horns, and of course Mary Lynn and Rex Nielsen. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit before we get into the episode. Emily Minhouse, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're able to catch us live, and I really appreciate that. Nancy Weems, thank you. Jamie Deshay Barker, Paranormal Reality TV. Hey, we saw you there on our live, and I appreciate you guys watching. And thank you. We had a great show, and it's going to be a great show tonight. And Miss D Hoot, thank you for watching, and thank you for your questions. You guys asked some great questions. So this whole thing was really a great learning experience for us, and we're going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday night throughout the month of October, and hopefully by next week's show, we're going to have some of these bugs and kinks worked out. And then, of course, as we continue to go on, we're going to continue to work and provide some great content for everyone. Hey, Vicki Norris from Franklin, Kentucky area. Thank you so much for watching as well. So, so last week, so on Tuesday night, just to kind of quickly recap on that, we are talking about the first episode of Season 6 here on Ghost Biker Explorations, and we're doing it different this season. We're coming live every time from several great locations. The really cool thing about this season, there's actually a couple cool things about it. First, we're live, which is something that's different. Love doing live investigations. Second, the locations that we're investigating are either villages or former homesteads. So we're covering a lot of area on these investigations that we're at. So this past week, we did have to travel to several different buildings. We didn't do a pre-setup, which I really didn't. I kind of wanted to set it up as we were going. But at some of the locations, we may actually go and do a little bit of a pre-setup, just so, in the essence of saving time. But we were there at different haunted villages, different haunted homesteads. This past week was the village of historic Rugby, which was a utopian Victorian British colonization. So that's one of the things that sets that off different from the other locations that we were at. And then also one of the other themes that we've got with this is the majority of these locations have either not ever been investigated before, or they've only been investigated maybe 2 or 3 times. Several of them have been investigated a couple times. Rugby, as you know, that is an expansion of what we do with the historic Scott County Jail, and it's one of the locations that we offer guided ghost hunts and paranormal investigations at. But as a whole, it's not been overly investigated. This location is probably the location that's been investigated the most out of all the investigations that we're going to be doing this season. And with that comes its own challenges, because a lot of the spirits, they may not understand the tools that we're using or some of the techniques that we're using. So we're going to be investigating a little bit differently with some of these. So so we're definitely got some really cool things planned for this season. So just kind of keeping an eye on the comments over here. Yes, D Hoot, definitely thank you to Dr. Sumner. She was with me. She was manning the camera this week and asking the questions that you guys put out there. So with this, we did it. I had my laptop set up for moderating, and then I also had Dr. Sumner. She followed me around. Since we were doing that on the phone, it was hard to kind of keep up with some of the questions because she would have to scroll between multiple screens. So I'm looking at some different logistics for next week so that we can see all the questions and really provide a more interactive experience next week. So like I said, we're learning, and we're definitely looking at making some changes each time. So definitely a thank you to her. She is actually there at the historic Scott County Jail tonight. We have October is a crazy busy month, and we've got flashlight tours and ghost walks every night pretty much during the month of October. So she's running the tour tonight so that I can run my show. Hello to Kimberly Horn. Like I said, it was great, and they such great hospitality last week, letting me stay there. And Emily, I guess I could pull some of these comments up here on the screen. Yes, new locations. To me, that's one of my favorite things, is highlighting these locations. And each of those locations that I'm going to be highlighting this season, they're all not-for-profits, and they're all locations that depend on visitors coming in and touring those locations to stay in business. And so one of the things that I love doing here with Ghost Biker Explorations is making people aware of some of these places that they might not have ever visited before, or that, if they're in the area, maybe they'll stop by, check it out, and check out the history. Each of them have an amazing history that is contained within the walls or within the village. So that's what we're really excited about doing this season, is really bringing awareness to these smaller locations that may not be as well known. Now, historic Rugby is very well known. It's known worldwide. It's it was put on the National Historic Registry back in 1972, and it's been essentially a living village ever since. There are folks that do have homes inside of the village. You can spend the night there and stay in their lodging, and they have a lot of different events that they do throughout the year, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. But I want to get through the comments. I want to talk about South Dakota here in a few minutes, and I want to talk about a really cool Ghost Biker Explorations event that's coming up here mid-season. So we'll do all that before we get into the episode. So again, I just want to say hello to a few more people. Hello to Mr. Jimmy Ricker. Thank you so much for watching. And Ms. Dawn, thank you, from down in southern Alabama. And thank you, Kim. I really do appreciate that. It's great to be able to get the word out about these places. And hello from all the way out in California, Miss Dee Dee. the dream interpreter herself. So I had her on my show back last year, and I want to have her back on because I know she does dream interpretations, and she's been going at that really strong for a long time now, and she's got some amazing theories with dreams and the paranormal. So I'd like to actually, after we're done with our season, have her on to talk a little bit more about that. And she had some great questions there. I mean, like I said, you all did, and we definitely really appreciate that. So, want to talk just a little bit about some cool things that we've got going on at the historic Scott County Jail and at Historic Rugby. So, we just released this poster today, and it's talking about our ghost walks and our haunted tours. So, we've got both locations, two very, very historic locations, but only limited tickets available. And I'm going to see if I can actually pull this up just a little bit larger so that you can see it. We got it split off. So at the historic Scott County Jail, we offer flashlight tours. Those are our most popular tours. They're 90 minutes. We take you through the jail. We share the history. We also share the paranormal findings through video, audio, and photography as we go throughout the jail. You also get a K2 meter that you get to walk around with while on the tour. And we do a little mini session up in one of our more active areas. We've got 4 dates available during the month of October. Those tickets are limited because we do take 10 people each on the tour. And so those dates are listed on there, and you can go on and check and see what dates are available. We also have our Ghosts of the Past Haunted History Walk that starts at 8 p.m. each night, and the tours do last approximately 2 hours. What's different about that than the flashlight tours? Well, we take you on a walk throughout the historic town of Huntsville. We tell you the haunted history, and then it ends with a flashlight tour of the jail. So it's just a little bit of an add on to our flashlight tour, but it's crazy because there is so much interesting history throughout the town of Huntsville, and we're constantly learning more and more. So we actually have 5 dates available for that, and we try to keep those tickets to 10 per tour, but or 10 people per tour. But if you have a group and we need to add just a couple more, give us a call. Let us know. We'll add you. And of course, historic rugby after dark. We've got Haunted Village lantern tours and Haunted North Village cemetery tour. So on the Haunted Village lantern tour, you get to go in and go tour the village by lantern light. You get to go into some of the locations, actually all the locations that we covered on this past week's episode, which would be the Thomas Hughes House, known as Kingstone Lyle, the library, and which is personally my favorite, and then of course the schoolhouse and of course we walk down the schoolhouse is it did used to be the meeting house as well as the old church, and then you do walk down by Newberry, and we share the history as well as our haunted findings there on that Haunted Village lantern tour. It lasts approximately 90 minutes. And then, of course, our brand new tour that we've added is the Haunted North Village and Cemetery Tour, which is Laureldale Cemetery, the Tabard Inn, and Uffington House. And so that is also a 90-minute tour. We started that new this month, and it's almost booked up. We do have 6 dates available for that. And that one in particular, we did not get to go down to Uffington House that we during the investigation because it is on the north end of the village, and I was concerned about the Wi-Fi and everything reaching as well as the time, so we did not get to hit that on the episode. But you can check out those dates. You can find all of this information on historyhighwayshaunts.com. That's got a link to both the Scott County Jail page as well as the Historic Rugby After Dark page, or you can go to historicscottcojail.com or Historic Rugby After Dark, and you can find all those on Facebook as well. So we've got all of that stuff everywhere where you can go and find that. So check out our tours, come join us. We also offer guided ghost hunts, and we do have a few private paranormal investigation dates still open for Historic Rugby and the Historic Scott County Jail. So again, October is crazy because if I'm traveling every week for the show, and when I'm not traveling, we're giving tours at the jail, at Rugby, and then we're also open during the day for our tours. So we're just, I mean, we're so excited here about October. So check out those tours. Also, wanted to talk about this past weekend out in South Dakota. You've heard me talk about this for the last couple months, and you've probably seen it all over the internet. We had the Spirits of Deadwood event. It was my first time out in South Dakota, and man, it was a blast. Being able to connect with a lot of old friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, meet a lot of new ones, and investigate in locations that I've never been to before was just, I mean, it was just so awesome. I do want to talk just a little bit about that because we did let's see, want to make sure I pull all that up. So bear with me just a second as I do that. So we did have the event. It was held at the historic Bullock Hotel. Just going to scroll through a few pictures. I actually have a few more that I do need to pull up. We were located down in Seth's Cellar, and we were able to set up our tables and meet the public and meet a lot of folks there that came to our VIP. It was a sold out event, which is very, very cool. And what's even more awesome about it is this went to benefit the Sacred Mountain Retreat Center. Now, you've heard me talk about it, and I want to get a copy of the video that they shared because if you didn't leave in tears when you saw this video, there's absolutely something wrong. But what this organization does for our first responders, our military vets, and our Gold Star families, our police officers, firefighters, nurses, anyone that's suffering from trauma, what this location does is truly amazing. And they do it through different programs, the equine program, the puppy program. I mean, this is a week where they fly these folks out to South Dakota. I mean, the hills truly are healing there. And whenever we got to take a tour of the retreat center, have breakfast there, and really be able to find out what we were working towards, and you could just feel it, the energy, the healing. I mean, that place is truly amazing. And what they do is they fly these folks out to the retreat center for a week, and it's at no cost to the folks that are going out there. It's all done through the donations that they get throughout the year and the money that's raised. And so they fly them out there, and it's a week of healing. And so I know that there's a couple of folks on here who are mentors that work out there. They're actually watching in the audience, and so it was really cool to see it firsthand for myself. That's Miss Rose Spears there. I was able to meet her. She is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the Deadwood brothel, or the brothel Deadwood, Fairmont Bullock Hotel, anything, or the Adams House. She had so much information. I'm going to actually have her on my show after the season is over, so we can talk a lot more about the history out there, because it was really amazing history. And then, of course, I would really like to thank the with Horn Paranormal, and Mary Lynn for all the hard work that they put into this. Brandon Cooper, um, uh, Jared with Sacred Mountain Retreat. I mean, so many folks worked really hard to get this event put together. And these photos, of course, Mr. Rex Nilsson. I mean, he has amazing art. So many folks worked really hard to put this event together and to make this such a great weekend. So again, it was a sold out weekend, and just truly an honor to be there. The very first night, we actually, after the VIP dinner, we did do an excursion up to Mount Moriah Cemetery, which was so much fun. You know, where Wild Bill Hickok is buried, as well as Calamity Jane. um, I'd like to definitely spend a lot more time in that cemetery, but we got to go up there, got to see that, got to do a little mini session up there. Um, and of course, that was just the first night. And so I do have some more pictures that I definitely need to put online there. I've actually had a lot of folks ask me. So we did get to stay in the Bullock Hotel that first night, or excuse me, Friday and Saturday night, and I was in a very active room. It was not exceptionally active the night that I was in there, but I did sleep in there, and that was Seth Bullock's room. It was also the room that Sarah is known to be seen in. There's shadow figures that's supposed to be seen in there. There's also the spirit of Sarah, who will, they say she'll go through your suitcases. She'll go through, like if you sit your toiletries and stuff like that up in the bathroom. She's even been known to like stack your stuff like a house of cards. Now, unfortunately, none of that happened, but I did have one interesting thing happen, and so I was kind of joking about, staying there in the room and seeing what would happen. I had to sleep with a fan on that night, so I didn't really hear a lot. But before I turned the fan on, and just as I was laying down to go to bed, I was getting undressed to go to bed, and there was a man's voice from over in my shoulder that he said in this real deep voice. He said, "Ma'am." And it was just as I was getting undressed. And so it was kind of startling because it really sounded like he was just like right over my shoulder. I never had anything moved or anything like that, but that was what happened in my room. And so I've had a lot of people ask. I did set a recorder out that I've not had the opportunity to go through yet. So hopefully I'll be able to go back and check that out. But that was the reports of what happened in in my room. I guess they're so used to prostitutes and stuff being in those rooms that I don't know, maybe the spirit thought something was going to happen. But I just, again, I want to look over these comments here. Um, yeah, Deadwood, definitely a beautiful place. I'm hoping to go back there and do some filming, spend some more time. Um, for sure, a great benefit, and definitely one that I really am proud to be a part of. And then Memphis Ghost Hunters, good evening to you guys, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in a few weeks as well. Like I said, a lot of great events going on. Rose is definitely amazing, and I can't wait to have her on the show. Um, just want to talk a little bit more about the event. I've not put the rest of the photos on there yet, but so the second night we had a day of meeting with the public. They were able to come in, look at the booths that we had, and then also, listen to our presentations. So I was able to give a presentation about what I do with Ghost Biker and the show. So we did that, and then that ended with a dinner, and then it was time for the main event, the investigations. And boy, we got to investigate three great places. The Bullock Hotel, which was again where we got to stay, and then of course the Fairmont Hotel, and then the brothel Deadwood. Now, I was stationed with Rex over at the brothel, or excuse me, at the Fairmont, and I don't know why okay, I'm freezing up here. Um, that place, that history was just wild, and the energy was so different than anywhere else. And of course, if any of you watch Ghost Adventures, I know that they had investigated there in some of their earlier episodes. Um, the It was interesting because the energy was so different. This place, it kind of had a little bit of a darker history to it. That whole entire area that we were at, and I'm not even going to go into all the history just because I want to have Rose on, but it was interesting because that area was the Deadwood Badlands, and so that, from what I was told, we're definitely going back to look at some of this history, but from what I was told, that area averaged about 7 deaths per day. which is incredible for that time. And also, these brothels, they were in use from up to as late as the 1980s, which is, I wasn't aware of that, which is really wild that they were being used as late as the 80s. But this one in particular, they actually still had the hooks on the walls where the women would be chained to the walls. And it was a more of a lower class brothel than the other areas, but you could either be sold to the building or you could basically go there and work for the building. And so after you had had your orientation and spent your time there, you would be chained to the wall, and the chain was long enough for you to be able to go to the bathroom, basically. And there were reports of women who did jump out the windows, and of course the chains were only long enough to basically either snap their legs or swing them into the side of the building if they tried to jump and escape. Um, so there's a lot of death, and a lot of just I hate to use the word negative and dark, but just a darker energy in that area because of everything that happened. Of course, if there, the area down below, there were children who were killed because if the ladies got pregnant, again, I'm not going to go into all that, but you know, if they kept the babies, the children would be sold. If they weren't healthy, they would be killed. So it was definitely interesting. The One of the things that I got there that really kind of stood out to me, I was walking around with Kim, one of the ladies that used to be a excuse me, that used to be a tour guide there, and I wear a locket that has my dad's picture in it, and it's got some of the flowers from when he passed away, ground up into the locket that my friend Tiffany White made for me, and so I always wear that locket. And while I was walking around in the Fairmont Hotel, something started pulling on my necklace, and it was pulling so hard that it felt like it was going to break, or it felt like it was going to kind of cut into my neck. And I made the comment to Kim that I was walking around with. I said, something's pulling on my necklace, and she had a spirit box there, and we were playing it as we were walking. And as soon as I asked who was pulling on my necklace, this woman with, I mean, it was so clear, with this sultry voice comes on and she says, "You're lucky." And it was so, I mean, you could just feel the emotion in the voice. And so we stopped, and right afterwards, um, heard something kind of come up behind because there was a little hallway in behind. And after we turned around, there was this little small Halloween decoration that was sitting behind us, and it was just a real creepy, like a kid with hair over their face, like the Ring Kid. And it wasn't behind us just seconds ago. And we actually pulled up a photo from 3 minutes earlier that was taken down that hallway just before we had stopped and was having the conversation with the spirit box. And there was nothing in that hall. So it was really cool. I've never been somewhere that something has moved like that before my eyes. Um, so that was kind of the experience there with the Fairmont. And of course, a lot of people had a lot of interesting experiences throughout the investigation. And then, of course, it ended with all of us, the special guests. We had breakfast at the retreat and got to go around and tour and see some beautiful sights there in South Dakota, including Mount Rushmore. So great weekend. Going to be putting those photos on very soon. I do want to mention, just kind of looking here to make sure I've not missed anything. Brandon says, "Tell them what happened when we went back to the cemetery." That was pretty wild too. So, like I said, we did a tour of Brandon. He was kind enough to take me around to Mount Rushmore and Keystone and some of the different areas there in South Dakota. And after we came back, we decided we were going to go up to Mount Moriah because there was a really cool storm that was coming in. I wanted to take pictures of the lightning coming off the mountain. And as we got up there, and I think it was probably, I mean, it was after 10 o'clock, I believe, when we were heading up that way. And we get up to the top of the cemetery and we're walking on back toward Wild Bill's grave. And all of a sudden, just get this wave of exhaustion, just so tired, like I couldn't hardly walk anymore. And what was weird about it, I mean, when I go on trips like this, I want to see as much as I can, and I'll just go and go as long as I can. But it hit, I didn't think I was going to be able to go. I turn around and look at Brandon, and he's standing there and he's feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And so the cemetery is kind of stacked up a hill as you're going up the hill. And as I turn to look up the hill, Brandon's looking up the hill. I get hit with the worst dizziness. I literally felt like I was going to be tipped over. And so I had to stop because if I didn't stop looking and put my head down, I was going to fall. And Brandon's hit the same way, just an intense amount of dizziness. So we both kind of talked about it for a few minutes and felt like we probably did not need to proceed forward, that we needed to turn and go back because we were both just very tired from the weekend and our defenses were down. We didn't need to push any further. So as we turned to go back, Brandon doubles over and says, he feels like he's been stabbed. And so we wait till he starts feeling better and go ahead and head off the mountain. And of course, as we get down below the mountain, both of us start feeling better as soon as we're coming off the cemetery. So, not really sure. We discussed this at length on the way back. Not really sure if it was something telling us we weren't supposed to be there, if it could have been the elemental that guards the cemetery. Brandon was telling me, about Native history and that every cemetery has got an elemental. Either way, it was a wild experience, and for me, being out in Deadwood, I have to say that, I'm typically not affected by locations, but being in Deadwood was one that when I walked in, I've never felt such dizziness or pushing back. As soon as I went into the Fairmont to set up to lead the investigation that night, Rex and I were walking in, and I was instantly, as I'm walking up the steps, hit with just this wave of intense dizziness. And it just felt like something was pushing me back. And through talking to different people, women tend to sometimes feel that in that location. So it's definitely for me a location that affected me more, I guess, physically than anywhere I've ever been as soon as just walking in. So I can't wait to go back and do a more intense investigation, maybe highlighted in a future season. We'll just have to see. But yeah, it's definitely a cool experience. And if you get the opportunity, head out there, but also working on next year's event. I know there was some brainstorming about that, so hopefully they will have a Spirits of Deadwood again next year. And I definitely encourage you, if you get the opportunity, to definitely attend. And then please consider donating to that. You can go to Sacred Mountain Retreat Center or sacredmountainretreat.org and donate to their different programs. So again, just want to check out the comments here because I've been rambling away. It's really weird doing the show by myself. Been doing it that way for we had, Kelly on last week. But it's been it's different doing that. And yeah, I gotta agree, Emily, the town is called Deadwood for a reason. No doubt about that. And of course, as Kim says, heavier. That is a much better word than I hate to use the word dark or negative because people put the wrong connotation to that and they scream demons at that point. Heavier is a much better word. So thank you. And as Nancy says, they just want their stories told. That is the absolute truth. It is one of those things. That's what we see there at the jail, and that's what we find at these other locations. They, you know, like everybody, they deserve to have their story told. And Kim, yes, Kimberly Mag, she was the one that I was walking around with, and she absolutely knows her stuff when it comes to the Fairmont. Um, D, who ran the brothel? I don't know if you're talking about back then or if you're talking about who ran the tour on the brothel, but Rose, who is going to be on my show here when the season is over, she is the one that ran the tours. As far as running the brothel, there were some different names of folks that ran that. And some of the evidence that they've captured out of there on their ghost tours that they show is just absolutely insane. Um, yeah, it was definitely an interesting thing. Emily, was that also the same time the storm was coming in? Yes, it was. I wanted to get pictures of the lightning up on the mountain there, and that was definitely the time that the storm was coming in. So it could have been a pressure thing that was making me feel dizzy. You never know. We always like to look at atmospheric things for that nature, but then also storms do tend to charge activity. So there's a lot of things that could have been at play at that moment. Let's see, Kim. Friday night tour, we had three separate guests claim they watched a shadow figure walking through the top part of the cemetery. Yes, and I know that there was some interesting things caught on the SLSs. And one of the things that Brandon and I noticed on that Sunday night in the lightning, we were seeing something running between the trees. We saw it on three different occasions. Every time it would kind of lightning up there, you would see something run between the trees. Um, let's see, Emily, did you all have a recording of him feeling that way? Um, I'm try- are you talking about when Brandon and I were there or something else? If you could expand on that. Um, I know I'm kind of all over the map here. Um, let's see. And Dawn says, I wish I could come with you on some of these. I wish you could too. And hopefully, maybe we can work something out. I know I'm going to be doing some filming in Alabama next year, so maybe we can work something out, Dawn. Let's see. And definitely, William, I believe that the storms help the spirits intensify. That is something that we always notice at the historic Scott County Jail. I love it when teams come up here. They always are able to capture a lot of different activity when we have rain and storms at the jail. So I'd say it's probably similar in other places as well. I just know that's something that always works out at the jail. And yes, Sacred Mountain Retreat Center. I hope I said that right. I may have misspoke earlier. Let's see. And yep, the EMF is definitely a lot stronger there. And as Scott said, it was a full moon. We couldn't have timed it out more perfect with that. Um, and so yeah, like I said, I'm just definitely scrolling down through here. Um, Kim says they claim the shadow person was going through the trees as well. Let's see. Ah, yeah. No, we did not have any video or audio. That was just, Brandon and I were just walking there up to the cemetery, and it was really just kind of one of those. I should have started my recorder whenever we walked in there, but it was one of those things where we were just going in, and I was going to try to snap some photos while we were up there. But I learned, one of the things that always seems to happen is, I always try to start my recorder anytime I go in anywhere, but I wasn't necessarily investigating, and so I didn't even have it out at that point. But lesson learned. Um, and Ronnie says, when am I coming back to Virginia? I will be actually coming back to Virginia. I'll be filming an episode live from Virginia this season. So I will be coming back to Virginia in a few weeks. I'm very excited about that with the different places that I'm going to be investigating this season, and one of them is going to be in Central Virginia. So really looking forward to that because I have not. I covered an episode in Virginia at the Nickerson Sneed House in season 4, and I'm excited to be coming back there for season 6. Let's see. And I firmly believe and agree with you, Emily. The best things happen when we don't have cameras or audio on. Sometimes I feel like that activity is only something that's supposed to be special just for us. And sometimes I think things don't happen when you have the camera and audio on. I don't know if they can see in like a certain type of spectrum where the cameras are filming or if they just know. But I do believe a lot of the times some things don't happen because of that. It's just meant to be a personal experience, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. And William says, are you going to come to Ohio? I will be coming to Ohio, but I'm not coming to Ohio this season. But I will definitely be coming to Ohio because there's a couple places I have on my schedule. And I can't wait. And there's a couple in particular that I'm exceptionally excited about. And I got family there in Ohio, in the Dayton, Ohio area. So I definitely need to get up there and do that. I've also done a couple Harley events there. I did one at Sin City Harley Davidson, so hopefully be able to come back to that. But if you've got any suggestions of places up there, William, please let me know, and I would like to add that to my list as well. All right. I want to talk real briefly about the Ghost Biker event that's coming up, and then we're going to get to some things that happened on the last episode. But yesterday, I did go up to Wildcat Harley Davidson in London, Kentucky, and met with Chris, the marketing director there, about the ride, and we've got the ride route mapped out. Everything is a go and good for our Hogs and Haunts October 14th and 15th weekend, and it is a partnership between Wildcat Harley Davidson, myself with Ghost Biker Explorations, and the London Laurel County Tourism Commission. And if you watched last week's episode, it was so much fun. We had Kelly Burton from the London Laurel Tourism Commission, and we had a great time talking about last year's weekend and talking about the cool stuff that happened or that is planned for this weekend. And 100% of the funds from the Hogs and Haunts weekend goes to the London Laurel County Shop with a Cop program. And I've said it every week and I'll say it again. This program is fantastic because sometimes here in rural Appalachia, the Shop with a Cop program is the only Christmas that some of these kids get. It's also a great opportunity for the cops and police officers because sometimes, in today's world, they don't get a fair shake and a good rap. So this is something that's good that shows our cops doing great things and helping the community. And again, it's such an important program for that. So 100% of the funds goes to it, but it's going to start October 14th with a meet and greet that runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Wildcat Harley Davidson at this beautiful dealership that's just located right there in London, Kentucky. And so I don't know all the details on this, but there's probably going to be, well, there will definitely be food, maybe free. I'm not 100% sure, but there will be food and entertainment, and you'll be able to come by and chat with me. We'll be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then there'll be a little bit of a break, but come back at 7 p.m. We've got our paranormal investigation, and it's going to be taking place in the undisclosed cave in southeastern Kentucky. It is not Mammoth Cave, which a lot of people have been wondering. It is not. I cannot disclose the name of the cave. However, when you get your tickets and you come meet up with us, we will tell you where we're going. We're not going to be blindfolding you and putting you in a van or anything like that. But it's going to be a great investigation. It is one that we're going to be down there. We're not going to have light contamination or pollution. We're not going to have sound pollution. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as like Emily says, you do have to be careful of the goblins in the cave, because inside the cave you do have not just paranormal activity, but possible supernatural activity. And so we're going to see if we can get any of that. And so we definitely, this is one we are limiting the number. We've limited it to 15 tickets. We still have a few of those tickets left. Tickets are only $45. And again, 100% of those funds go to the Shop with a Cop program. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to pull up the link right here. You can get to all of these pages by going to Wildcat. Whoops, let's see here. It's not letting me copy it. By going to Wildcat Harley Davidson and searching for Hogs and Haunts, but you can just click on this link and it will take you to all three things. You do not have to register for the meet and greet. You don't have to, the only thing you have to register for is the cave tour and then also the motorcycle ride. So we have that. We do have a few tickets left, and then of course we're going to end the weekend with a free motorcycle ride, and it's a haunted history motorcycle ride. We're going to be riding, seeing the fall foliage, and it's going to be, I believe, about I need to look. I think it's like a 125-mile motorcycle ride. We're meeting at Wildcat Harley Davidson at noon, and it's going to be kickstands up at 1 p.m. We're going to be back by 5. So I'll be leading that ride, and if I can talk, I'll be leading that ride, and we will have more information about this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know that the ride was officially sold out. I think last time I looked, there were 3 spots left, but it may be sold out. But don't let that discourage you. As of right now, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend for the ride. We do have a rain out date of October 21st if it does rain, but if it doesn't, then meet us for that ride. And if you participate in any of these events and stay at a local hotel, we've got a swag bag for you for free that you'll be able to get. It's got something from Ghost Biker Exploration, something from Harley, and something from London, Kentucky. And I think last week Kelly kind of hinted to may need to know your shirt size when it comes to that. So go back, check out last week's episode, find out more information about it, book your ticket. If you want to do the motorcycle ride and there's no spot left, reach out to me on Facebook or or even email, however you want to do it, and go in there and you will, you will get. We will get you on that ride. So, and then as far as the swag bag, all you have to do if you're staying at a local hotel and participating in any of those events, show us your receipt and you will get your swag bag. So yeah, I could do that. And let's see, Brandon, you know, you could. I only have a single seat on my bike. I don't have a passenger seat. You'd have to ride on the handlebars, or we can maybe attach a wagon to the back. Um, and then Kimberly says supernatural versus paranormal, like spirits versus cryptids. Absolutely. We'll be on the while we're in there. We'll be on the lookout for the little people, the fairies, um, the cave goblins, you name it. We're definitely gonna check it out. So, um, and two clueless dudes, you can bring your big wheel. I don't care if you're on, 2 wheels, 3 wheels. I don't care if you're on a Harley, a Honda, a Kawasaki, whatever. Just show up. We're happy to have anyone that's not in a cage and that's on 2 or 3 wheels. So come on, guys. Okay, so I know we're getting here. It's 9:49. I wanted to touch on all of that because we did have a very big weekend, but I want to talk a little bit about this past week's episode. Now, again, we're doing something really special this season with this. Not only are we releasing a live episode, let me start over and re-say that because I can't talk. Okay, not only are we releasing a live episode every Tuesday night, but I'm also investigating at these locations for a couple hours, either before or after the live, and videoing this footage. And so after the season ends in October, I'm hoping we're going to transition right in November to the produced episodes. So, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking these lives, snipping some of the evidence that we've caught, and putting those into a produced episode like what you're used to with Ghost Biker Explorations. There will be the history section of the episode. There'll be the episode from, or I mean, the evidence review from the live, and then there will also be unseen footage that I get during the actual investigation where we're not live. So with that, you will get an extra episode from each location. So I'm not gonna highlight everything that was caught on Tuesday night. Now, of course, like I said, we did investigate the historic village of Rugby. And just as a brief history, if you are not familiar with that, it was established in 1880 by author Thomas Hughes. And he came over from England. He did establish this community as a community for the second and third sons of England. Now, primogeniture was what was going on in England, and that is where basically the first born sons, they were they basically had the privilege, and they had the jobs, and basically they had everything kind of laid out for them. The second and third sons, they got an allowance, and really there wasn't very many jobs that were noble enough for these second and third sons. So Thomas Hughes picked up the plot of the second and third sons, came over to the Appalachian Mountains here on the Cumberland Plateau, and established the village of Rugby. Now, his thought on that, it was supposed to be a socialist Christian community. You could come and live there as long as you were of a Christian religion. And basically, whatever you put into the community was what you got back. Now, the problem with this is everyone was supposed to work. They were supposed to work the lands. And so Rugby was pretty well doomed from the beginning because these second and third sons had no idea how to work the land. I'm sure their heart was in the right place and they were really excited and motivated about it, but you don't know what you don't know. And so I know that in that area there were some Appalachian families that had homesteads there that they were a little skeptical of the English folks whenever they came in, but they did work. Some of them did work to help them, to teach them on that sort of things. So it was one of those, this community from the very beginning, they had harsh winters. They were hit with typhoid fever. The Tabard Inn, which was one of the main social settings, that did end up burning a couple times. And, basically they had a lot of hardships when it came to working the land. They would have a lot of rises and falls in that community, which led to eventually between 1887 and 1890, Rugby, it was not a ghost town, but basically a lot of the folks, they did move on, and it was not the booming second British colonization that they originally thought it would be. And so Thomas Hughes, he never really lived there. He would he would come from England a couple times a year. He would stay on the property for 6 to 8 weeks, and then he would go back. Now they really didn't have a lot of leadership when it came to when it came to Rugby, because Thomas Hughes was going back and forth. He did finance primarily the community himself, the board of aid to land ownership, they did have financiers there that worked on that to try to do the land and that sort of thing. But for the most part, after Thomas Hughes's mother passed in 1887, really there wasn't a whole lot going on. Now, as I'm looking at the comments over here, D Hoot says, "Was there something about the sewage line?" Um, Interestingly enough, there out of the 27 people who contracted or who contracted, came and talk, who contracted typhoid fever, 20 of them or 7 of them did pass, and that most of the cases were caught there at the Tabard Inn. They did find that they had the sewage line running perpendicular to the water line, the well water, and they believe that that is one of the things that caused the people to catch it. Um, and of course, we cover a lot of that in our tour, so I don't want to go into all of that. We do cover it on the tour that we do of rugby, and then also we'll be covering a lot of that whenever we get to the full episode. I'll be doing some history there with that, but and of course, two clueless dudes. I tell you, I got to meet them this this past weekend, and those guys are always on. So much fun, and it was poopy. And of course, we did go in. We tried to use some different trigger items this past week. We tried to use. We I did have some music that I was going to play that we didn't get to. I was going to see if "God Save the Queen" or any type of English music would work. Also, I did take some tea and got some interesting triggers off of that when it came to investigating. But I do want to pull up the video here and play just a couple things. I did go and I did timestamp a few things, so hopefully you can hear it. I don't know if there will be a delay or not, but I am going to pull up a few. Now, we started there at Kingstone Lisle, which is Thomas Hughes's home. And so while we were inside there, and of course, again, several things we learned. It was a little too dark. Need to have some more ambient lighting during our upcoming lives. Also, the Wi-Fi service. We were on Wi-Fi. I know there's Wi-Fi in parts of the town. I did not know that there was a town Wi-Fi, but we jumped on, and so we could only go so far. So we didn't really get to go much further than Kingstone Lisle, and the service was interrupted when we tried to do the Estes method in the library. But while in Kingstone Lisle, we did have something tap on one of the windows. I was discussing this with my best friend Tiffany Watt, and it was she had some really great theories on this, because it's not been investigated very many times. It's only been investigated just a few times by a couple teams, and of course by myself and Christy. But we had a lot of battery drain. We didn't have a lot of activity when it came to the tools, but we had a lot of battery drain while we were in the location. And something she said, made a huge amount of sense, was that we were getting more audible sounds. We were getting tapping on the windows. We got footsteps upstairs. We also got a couple audible voices that you guys heard while we were doing the live. And so a great theory that she mentioned was, because they're not as familiar with the tools, they were using the batteries. They totally drained my gimbal, and it had only been going for about 45 minutes. It normally lasts for a couple hours. But they drained the gimbal. My phone battery was drained, and several of the other tools had drained. And so they were using that energy to communicate in the best way that they know how, which would be knocking, on things, or speaking. So I'm really interested to go back and listen to that full session to see if we actually captured more of those voices, because I know you guys were hearing them during the live, and we were hearing them disembodied while we were there. So I'm very interested to go back and look at that, and also to share some of the things that was captured during the actual investigation, which I'm not sharing that until we fully release it. But we did get a peck on the window twice. That was very interesting. And one of the things that's actually been seen there by people who work there, as well as people who tour the business or tour the village, is a child that looks out the window in the room we were in, and one that looks out the window on the second floor. So, so I'm not going to really show anything from Kingstone Lyle right now, but I do want to mention here the music device was creepy, and thank you, James Brady with Dark 30 Paranormal. That was that was fantastic, and I'm loving using that music box. And I know your son composed the music there on that, so I love this tool. But let's see, and Emily says, I've never heard footsteps before. Doing this for 24 years, I would love to catch footsteps. You need to come to the jail because we have some of the most incredible footsteps I've ever heard, and they're loud. You feel it in your soul when you hear them, and they'll go on and on for 12 to 13 minutes, so, or excuse me, not minutes, 12 to 13 steps. It's really wild, and really creepy when you hear it coming towards you. Now, so I'm going to pull up on here, and hey, Chris, thank you so much. I'm glad you're on. Hope the tour was good. Um, so let me get to pull up the video here. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling up the timestamps on it that I've got marked here. So the first one that I want to pull up was something that I thought was really cool from let's see if this will allow me to do this. Okay. Something that was really cool from the schoolhouse. So what we did after we investigated Kingstone Lyle, we went over, we did lose service for briefly as we were walking there. Y'all hung on, and that was, like I said, it was incredible that you guys held on and waited for us to come back and bared with us through the technical difficulties. After that, we headed over to the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse was originally a three-story structure that had a meeting hall, a church, and a schoolhouse in it. After the school burned in the early 1900s, it was built back as a two-story building. And so at this point in time, it was used mostly primarily as a schoolhouse and a meeting hall at that point, because the church across the street, the uh, Episcopal Church, Christ Church Episcopal, there was built in the late 1890s, or excuse me, mid 1880s, and it was no longer used for that at that point. Now we did set the tripwire up, and we found while we've been investigating here that the spirits really enjoy communicating with this tripwire. So let me cue up this part. This would have been where the spirit was running. And so let's see what we got. Can you run through there and show us how fast you can run? Oh, right there. I don't know if you got that.
But I saw it.
All right, did you see how that works? All you had to do was go up and touch it. You can run right through there and make every one of them light up. Can you do that again on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3, run. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That was cool. So I don't know if you guys could, hopefully you could hear that. I'm trying to make sure that you can hear that playing on there. But we were able to get them to run on command, and that's something that we were having happen quite often when we were doing our guided ghost hunts and paranormal investigations there. they just, you know, we believe that there is a child, actually in this case, a couple children that are often seen there at the jail, or excuse me, at the school. Now, this other one, if I can get this caught up here. And thank you for confirming that you could hear that. Now, this other one was one, this was a disembodied catch. We heard it in the moment. It was incredibly loud. And thankfully, it did catch, we were able to catch it on here, and a lot of other people heard it too. So let me get to that. And so I'm just going to set it up just a little bit earlier. And it's a snap, or it was either a snap or what sounded like a pencil breaking. So we're going to go ahead and play that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
How old are you? Are you 11? If you're 11, touch your light. Are you 12 now? Maybe 10?
Are you a little girl? If you're a little girl, touch the light.
Are you a little boy?
Did you just snap?
No.
That was not you that just snapped?
No. I heard it really loud.
Oh my God.
It came from over here.
Oh my God, that was right between us. That was crazy.
I'm just going to
Did
play
anybody else
that
hear a
right
girl?
quick again. You'll hear the snap.
If you're a little girl, touch the light.
Are you a little boy?
Did you just snap?
No.
That was not you that just snapped?
No. I heard it really loud.
Oh my God.
It came from over here.
Oh my.
That snap was so loud that I mean you could almost feel it when it happened. Um I mean, I don't know if it was a snap or if it was somebody snapping a pencil, but that was definitely, it was definitely disembodied, and it was loud there. And really, either one to me would make sense, because being in a schoolhouse, I could see a teacher snap it. Of course, my parents were both teachers, but I could see them snapping, and then I could see a kid snapping a pencil. So, which could definitely be a residual, but you never know. Um, and so let's see the next one. So this is something that is pretty common that we do hear whenever whenever we're given our tours there. It's something that some of the docents as well as administrators there at Rugby have heard. So the way the I keep wanting to call it the jail, the way the schoolhouse is structured now is they have on the bottom level, they have it set up as this very, very cool museum that has some relics from Rugby, as well as when it was an old schoolhouse. And then on the upper level, that's where the administration offices are, and they're set up into like these little cube offices. And so it is not uncommon for us to hear running up there. It's not uncommon during the day whenever folks are working up there. Usually there's only 1 to 2 people that's working upstairs during the day, and they'll hear somebody running down the hall. Also, the lights, and they've had issues with the lights not wanting to turn on, doors locking, staying closed. It's a lot of really interesting things that have been happening there at Rugby and in the schoolhouse. Now, as we were talking, we actually heard running upstairs. So let me cue this up. And so I'm going to start it just a little bit earlier. We're going to be looking at 139:12.
Either Sarah or Aaron.
Can you tell us what this building is? Can you tell us how old you are? 12?
I thought either that or I thought it said 29, but 12 would work.
Are you
What?
29?
That was 12.
So you're 12?
Whoa. Do you hear that upstairs?
There's running upstairs.
There's running upstairs. Oh man, that just gave me goosebumps.
It was loud. I felt the floor shook.
Yeah. Can you do that again upstairs, please?
Yeah, there's yeah, you definitely want to get your headphones when you're listening to this. And it's always kind of hard to know playing over this, but then also broadcasting over the live. So definitely, Emily brings up a good point. Whenever you watch the live next Tuesday night, definitely try to have some headphones. And I recommend don't use a noise canceling because that will sometimes cancel out the fine sounds. Um, but with the noise that they pop in to or pump in to knock out the noise canceling. Um, definitely put in some earbuds or something that when you're listening next week, and then whenever we're watching the episodes here. And there was a tapping sound just when I started. I'm only highlighting a few of the larger ones. We caught a lot during this live and a lot during the investigation, but just wanted to definitely highlight some of these bigger catches here on this review show. Now, the next one, um, so if you watched from the beginning, you saw that I did bring a couple trigger items, and one of the things I brought was I brought three different tea bags, and so two of them were one type of tea, and another one was another type of tea. And so while I was at Kingstone Lyle, because normally they have this beautiful tea set up, but they are decorated for their ghostly gathering there at Rugby. But I took some tea, wanted to see if anybody would want any tea. I did not say what I had whenever I pulled the trigger item out. I like to not say it so as not to lead or entice anyone to either copy what I'm saying or what have you. But I had held up, I'd ask if somebody wanted something to drink. So when we went over to the schoolhouse, we asked again if somebody wanted something to drink. So here's what we caught.
What was your favorite subject? Whatever it was, just said it twice.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to tell you what I thought it said. What was your favorite subject? Man. Can you touch the other light again like you did, please? The one that's closer to me? I don't know.
We got a lot of ways you can.
What did it say?
Constant and period.
School? Is that what that said?
School.
Yep, we're definitely in the school. Thank you. If you're over there by the front door, can you please walk this way?
Does anyone want to have something to drink with me?
I definitely said yes.
Yeah. What would you like to drink?
Tea?
Tea?
Are you serious? That totally said T. Oh my God. I've got goosebumps. Oh my gosh. That was creepy.
I've got some.
That was
And that's something that that's something that we found at several of these locations. Um, with this one, very intelligent. They can see. They can hear us. Um, we're finding that at these locations. Last season, same thing happened at the Fentress County Jail. I held up a paintbrush, and on two different devices, on my Ovilus 5 as well as my Spirit Box, I got paint and paintbrush, which was pretty incredible. I have no explanation for that because I took it out of the wrapper and I never even mentioned or talked about it either one, and for the two independent devices to pick that up. So, um, just further validation with this that either they saw it or they wanted to eat one way or the other. So definitely, I love it when things like that happen. Let's see, and then I'm going to show two more, and let's see on this one. So one of my favorite tools to use, it can be like most of these tools, they can be controversial and such, but um, I love using the flashlights. I like using the mini mag lights, and I like to use them in different ways. They tend to give pretty good results for me, and then they give great results there at the jail. So we were actually playing a game with the spirits here in the school, and I had three different flashlights set up, and for me, I find them to be just a simple tool, but let me pull this up here. So one of the things I like to do is to sit there and hold a flashlight myself and basically ask for all the girls to turn their flashlights on. I turn mine on. We've had others turn theirs on, and then for all the boys to turn theirs on. So on this time I was asking that same question, and we got some pretty cool results with that. So let me go there to that. Got a couple lights.
That's the cat. Well, that's probably you. That's probably you though.
That may have been. All right. Thank you, James. I appreciate
All
that.
got a flashlight. Now, actually, I want to put one more light up. We're going to play a game. This. Oh, okay. Sit this over here on this side. So we're going to play a game. I want all the boys and girls to come over here. Okay. Okay. That's the cat ball. I've been walking around. That wasn't me. Okay.
I think that's you.
That's me right there. Okay, guys. I've got a flashlight or a candle or a lantern, whatever you want to call it.
A torch.
We've got it all around the room here. Now, I want and what we're going to do, all you got to do is walk up to it and turn it on. Or touch one of these lights right here. Just like
that. Was the, yeah.
Okay. And if you want to shine on me, you can see where I'm sitting. I'm sitting right here. All right. I want all the girls to turn your light on. If you're a girl, turn your light on. Okay? All right. If you're a boy, turn your light on.
Whoa. Holy smokes. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Can you turn that off? 1, 2, 3. Step back. See what he's done here? Now, are there any other boys in here? Turn your light on if you're a boy.
And so what was cool is for the rest of the evening, we believe we were communicating with a boy. We were getting some really interesting responses that 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 was could have been tied to a boy there, a young boy there in the schoolhouse. But for them to come on command, we didn't have any just random turn-ons of the flashlight. They were intelligently coming on command. So, and then the very last one that I'm going to show, this was also disembodied. We did hear it in the moment, and there were people who did hear this during the recording. So, let me get to that. And that's going to be at 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 26 seconds. So I'm going to start it. Actually, we're almost there. I'm just going to keep it running from where we're at and be about another minute.
That light's really, there's a that tripwire went
Yeah.
off.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, now, any other girls? Are there any other girls? Turn your light on. Are there any girls? Am I the only girl? Okay. Are there any students? If you're a student or a kid, turn your light on.
Okay. I hear the necrophonics to my right. There was something over here to my left.
I want to stop it for a minute.
Yeah, that's what we
That
think. I'm actually going to replay that. Yeah, I think that's what we heard. Let me go back and play that. So that's going to be at 1 minute 50 or 1 hour 50 minutes and 26 seconds. So you're going to hear it.
Thank you. All right,
Quite a
now,
few seconds
any other
later.
girls? Are there any other girls? Turn your light on. Are there any girls? Am I the only girl? Okay. Are there any students? If you're a student or a kid, turn your light on.
okay. I hear the
So what was interesting about that is, yeah, like Emily said, it was a very there was a very slow help me, and you could hear the necrophonics that's going in the background, but you could also hear the some voice that came from a totally different direction. It sounds different. It sounds like it's in a different place. Um, so those were just a few of the captures that we got during the live. That people, I have had a few people message me with timestamps of things. These are ones that also that I've gone back and listened to. If you get the chance and want to go back through the episode, check it out. Send me a message with the timestamp that's got either a voice or something on the video. Definitely go and do that. And what we'll do whenever we highlight this, we will highlight who sent it to me, and we'll snip that clip, put it there in the episode, and highlight who sent that and heard it. So definitely go back, and if you'd like to be highlighted there in the episode, watch the episode and send me the timestamps that you've noticed. And so I would love to put you there in the episode. And again, not only are you helping me during the lives, but you're also helping me with the evidence review of the live, and that definitely makes it definitely a and I cannot think of my words, a very interactive. Thank you, very interactive live. And so, as Christy says, I was to her right, and the voice was on her left. And kind of the way that everything is set up there is we were sitting in the back, and then in the middle is where the displays are, and so you're kind of going through the building in a circular shape and a circular direction. So, and yeah, Chris, thank you. Interactive. It's been long week. Um, and yeah, definitely those amplified headphones with sound reduction. And then there were two directions that everything was being pulled. And it felt like when you started to kind of pay attention to one, it would kind of something would happen to kind of pull you over into another direction there. Um, so again, we were live there from the historic village of Rugby. Historic Rugby has a lot of great things that are going on that we hope that you will definitely check out. Like I said before, we do have, I do want to pull this up again. We do have the, if you would like to come visit Rugby during the day, you can come in and you can do their daytime tours. You can also come and visit Rugby on one of our guided lantern tours where we share the history as well as the paranormal finds. And who knows, we've had a lot of people who have captured some great catches on in their photographs there on our tours. These spirits at Rugby are not shy and they love to watch what we're doing. It is not uncommon to catch one of our spirits there looking out the windows while we're doing the tours. So you too can come on the tour and actually be featured in our tour if you capture something in one of the windows there. Um, the dates that we do have available are listed here. I will share this poster here on my Ghost Biker page because again, what we're really trying to do with these locations is we're really trying to go in and get people to visit these locations. Rugby is doing their Ghostly Gathering, which will take place the last two weekends or the last two Saturday nights of the month. You can come and you can learn about the Victorian mourning practices, which do take place there. You know, since this is a Victorian community, they will be sharing that. They've pretty much blacked everything out there at Rugby. So definitely check out that. Check out Historic Rugby After Dark. If you go and Google it, you can find that on our page. You can find it on Facebook and you can be part of some of our different tours there with Rugby. We will put links on the episode to these different locations so you can find out more about them and visit them. We hope you'll take one of our tours, but you know, if you're not able to make it in October, we do offer these year round. We offer guided ghost hunts, we offer private paranormal investigations, and we also offer private paranormal investigations with lodging. So so definitely check that out. Definitely go on and check out the Ghost Biker weekend, Hogs and Haunts weekend that's going to be taking place in London, Kentucky, October 14th and 15th. We got the links in the comments, links on the website, links on Facebook. Definitely go and check that out. Investigate the cave with me. I'm just kind of looking to make sure that there are no other comments here that I might have missed. I've been seeing some great compliments, and I can't tell you all how much I do appreciate that. You know, being a content creator, when you take the time to not only watch and interact with us, but also share those out, that really does a lot for a content creator. And I can't tell you how touched that is because we say it every week. You know, time is such a valuable thing, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys spending your time with me. If there are any other comments, you want to get those in because we are going to be wrapping things up here in just a few minutes. Um, Thank you so much for watching, Emily. That does mean a lot, and I really do appreciate your feedback. And so definitely watch this weekend. Definitely tune in this coming Tuesday night. We will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube under Ghost Biker Explorations, and we will be at a new location because it will be episode 2 of season 6. And obviously, I'm not going to give that location away, but I will be in a different state. And we're going to be highlighting somewhere that's only ever been investigated one time. And so there's a lot of great history with this place that you're definitely going to want to check out. Let's see what we've got here. Thank you. I'll take that. I will definitely take that. I'll be the swag bag. Thank you so much, Mr. Al Cooley from Ohio, for tuning in with Ghosts in the Valley podcast. Definitely, that really means a lot. And as she says, I'm in Kentucky. Won't be able to make it, but hopefully make some future events. Definitely hope you can make those. Let's see. And Emily is right. There is so much work that goes into content creation into the shows, and I know you guys that watch. I mean, you've been friend. Most of you have been friends of the show um, for years now, and so I know you definitely know how much it goes because you guys go in and you follow and like a lot of the different people who we have on the show. So, but it is something. It does take a lot of time and a lot of effort. We definitely are looking forward to seeing you, Mr. Brady, and Dark 30 there in Rugby. And again, thank you all so much. You guys, Two Clueless Dudes, they actually wore their Ghostbuster uniforms to the event in South Dakota. And so you need to throw on a Ghostbuster uniform. Don't give me the diaper. Give me the Ghostbuster uniforms too. Let's see here. Wow, thank you all so much. Hello to searchers. Got to meet Mr. Shane Pittman and Josh Purvis there in South Dakota. That was so cool. Got some great content with those guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in here. And as Nancy Weems says, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. We definitely appreciate that. So again, until next week, like I said, be watching for different things. We're hoping this past week we didn't get to do all the promotion that we wanted to for the season 1 episode just because I literally got back from South Dakota at 2 a.m. that morning and then I had to get to the location, get everything ready for the first episode. But we're hoping to do some cool lives, maybe put some hints out there as to where we're going to be visiting, and put some things out before we do the live next Tuesday night. But in the meantime, check out episode 1. Send me those timestamps and let me know so you can be featured in the produced episode, and then also. Just stay tuned to the page for everything that's going on. We will be live 9 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday night, and then again on Thursday night with a follow-up episode. So, until then, just definitely go back, binge some of those episodes if you can, and then come see us there at the historic Scott County Jail. And so I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Stay blessed. And again, appreciate you for spending your time with me. Take care, everyone.